let's have a little convo, okay? I want to explain some things, and I'm going to try to do that as shortly as possible, but sometimes there's only so many ways you can say something. Let me get comfortable. Hello, plant. All right, so what I want to explain to you. All right, I talked to you about you are powerful, right? That you and your source and God are one, right? And there may have been a time where it didn't really seem like that. It seemed like, the external world was the more important thing, that the cause was outside and the effect was inside. And I've been teaching that, no, that's the reverse. And it is kind of interesting because as the world goes on, notice that there are more things outside of us to draw our attention out. These awesome devices that we have in our hands, everything that's flashy and pretty, commercials, televisions, all of these things are meant to take our focus from here to out there. And this isn't a conspiracy theory, but it is about the idea that we've always heard that we are so powerful and we don't understand why. But it's because of our own wonderful, as Neville says it, human imaginations. And if you have never listened to Neville Goddard, he is wonderful and you should totally, completely listen to him. But this is my take as to how and why things are the way they are, okay? So there's a time that we believed, and maybe you didn't do it on a conscious level, but that you needed to hit certain marks in your life in order to be whole, in order to be complete, in order to be considered successful, in order to be considered beautiful, in order to be considered good, in order to be considered right, okay? And unfortunately, that meant you had to look outside of yourself to wait to get something, and then once you had it, then you could say, yep, I am. Check, bing, whatever you want to call it, right? Well, unfortunately, as I believe a society, or for any of the members that listen to or on, who are listening to me and are part of this collective group, that is not the way that it is, okay? And unfortunately, we lost ourselves in translation. We forgot who we were. We forgot that we were already whole, complete, love, perfection, all by ourselves, just for simply existing, not from efforting. And now, the reason that this information is coming up is for us to reclaim our power, remember who we are, because that was the original design. The original design was for us to come to Earth to become conscious creators. Now, if you are in a lack state, if you are in a state of lack, if you are in a state of not knowing who you are, if you're in a state of not realizing that you are amazing and perfect and all of these things, then it could feel like you need to get this in order to feel this way again, okay? Now, you are very, very, very powerful. You do not get what you want, you get who you are. So if you are creating, okay, let's say you're spending your time and you're doing all of the work and you're doing all of the manifestations, and you are hoping that the thing outside of you is going to come, and then you will realize the change of what this means for you. I am sorry to tell you, but it's not going to happen. It is not going to come from the outside, because that is not sustainable. And why is it not sustainable? Because if you are given the thing and it is taken away, your identity will be shattered. However, if you know who you are, you know that you are powerful, you know that you are creative, and you still want something, you can have it. Because your identity, your knowing of who you are, is not wrapped up in the thing, right? It's wrapped up in the fun of creation. And that is the difference, okay? If you haven't built and worked on your self-concept, you don't believe good things can happen for you, you don't understand that right in this very second you are love, you are worthy, you are perfect, you are whole, and all of those things, then no amount of things on the outside will ever be able to supplement what you are not giving yourself. In fact, because you refuse to acknowledge your wholeness in this very moment, and you are essentially neglecting yourself, you will probably find that the world is going to neglect you in return. And so the reason I talk about, and it can get very easily misconceived and misconstrued into, oh, well, if I just think about something and I believe it, it's going to happen. And yes, in part, this is very true. You can stay in that. However, If you need the thing in order to be whole, if you need the thing in order to prove that the law works, that this is the way that reality works, it's going to elude you, because the reason that you manifest isn't for the thing, it's for the fun of creation. It's the fact that you are freaking Picasso and you can paint whatever you want and you can watch how wonderful and beautiful your creation is. It is not to make you any more whole. You already are all that you believe that you would be if you had the thing. You are already it already. Create from the place of fun. You are a powerful creator. If you had the ability to do anything, you would do it for the fun of it, just because it's fun to do it, because it's the fact that you are that powerful that you can have it. Okay? So it's important that you work on your self-concept in knowing that you are one with Source, the creator of all things. And so you're not creating to prove that you are the thing you're seeking. You're not creating to prove that you are loved, to prove that you are successful, to prove that you are good. Okay? You are already those things. And you have to know that. And then when you close your eyes and you use your mindset and you go within and you see your vision of what it is that you want, and then you work yourself up into the state of knowing, I am already that which I seek. I'm seeking it because I'm ready to create it, for the fun of it, for the enjoyment of it, for the satisfaction of it, for the sake of saying I am this powerful. Then you'll create. And you won't have to worry about this being tied to your identity, because I will tell you from firsthand experience that the things that I used to have in my life, the stability and the relationship and the marriage and things like that, like I have all of those things now, but I'm saying there was a time that my identity was tied to it. I thought I was good because I was married. I was good because I chose this particular path in life. But when life took those things away from me, I lost it. I lost who I was. So did that mean that because this circumstance happened that I was no longer good, that I was no longer successful, that I was no longer loved, that I was no longer all of the things that I said I was? No. And unfortunately, now what I realize, and actually not unfortunately, fortunately, thankfully, I did have to experience that pain because I lost myself in the things. I lost myself in the belief that it was because I had this thing that made me worthy. It was because I had this thing that it made me good. That was an illusion. And that is what I'm here to tell you. It is not about the house. It is not about the cars. It is not about the marriage. It is not about the relationship. It is not about the education. It is not about the job that makes you good, that makes you whole, that makes you worthy, that makes you fill in the blank. You already are those things. And now, once you know that, then go after what you desire just purely because you can. Because you're that freaking powerful. Because you already are that good. Because you already are that worthy. And enjoy the experience of creating. Enjoy the experience of watching your power in action. So, I know somebody needed to hear this message. Keep shining your light because the world needs it. Take care.